this is the video that I watched.
Okay. I have a very singular question. Do we know what today is?
Yes.
What's the better name for that?
Resurrection Day.
Okay, who rose from the dead?
Jesus.
Okay, what does that mean? Why is it important that he rose from the dead? Okay, so that means he defeated sin and what? Death. You deserve to die because you are sinners. Okay? But Jesus loved you so much that he died for you and he rose from the dead. This ain't about bunnies. This ain't about eggs. Okay? The candy is just because we love you. But it ain't got nothing to do with that. It got everything to do with Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody say, hey. Everybody say, this has everything to do with Jesus.
Hey, Sammy.
Here's what I want to do with our time is talk a little bit about the theology of what Jackie said and talk about the therapeutic part of it as well. A lot of people have said in response to my video where I said her rhetoric was harmful.
All right, let's deconstruct some harmful theology.
You deserve to die because you are sinners. Okay? But Jesus loved you so much.
Let me tell you something. I would not let this woman anywhere near kids that I love. And for the record, I try to avoid her platform as much as I can, but I constantly get messages like this in my inbox. And I ignore most of them. Like when people sent me that clip of her on that podcast talking about how much she don't like her husband. Like, thanks for letting us know, Captain Obvious. And I can hear somebody now, but you didn't even show the whole video. Listen to me closely. There is no context in which it is appropriate to tell a bunch of 8-year-olds
you deserve to die.
The fact that she frames that as a statement of love does not make it any less insane. Words mean things, and nothing about
you deserve to die
aligns with a healthy, life-giving understanding of love. And people also constantly ask me, what's wrong with Jackie Hill Perry? I like her. If you don't see the problem with telling a whole bunch of kids
you deserve to die,
then you have the same problem she has. And if you were spreading this hateful, spiritually abusive rhetoric from your platform and it was her size, I would be calling your name too. What she said is emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically damaging to children and adults, might I add. And I need my mental health experts to chime in on this in the comments, because this is not some fringe idea that she just shared amongst her friends. She told a bunch of kids,
you deserve to die.
And then her team of social media professionals converted it into a clip for mass consumption.
They've said, well, I mean, they were like, maybe the approach was harsh, but the message is true. There were a lot of people who are making that argument like, well, what are you trying to say? Are you saying you don't agree with the Bible? You know, do you not agree with the word of God? Is that what you're saying? You know, you get all of those people. And there's a lot underneath that we need to unpack, because I don't just critique surface level statements. Like when I start my videos, let's deconstruct some harmful theology. I'm not merely addressing the statement that was made. I'm addressing the undergirding belief system from which that statement springs. That's a really, really important thing, okay? So when people are saying, are you saying that you don't agree with the Bible? That's based on this belief that Jesus's death was to save us from the death that we deserved to die. It comes from the theology of suffering. Listen, I really want y'all to go back and watch the theology of suffering from the Holy Smokes podcast. And I want you to listen to it with this situation in mind, because this deals with her basic theology that we are supposed to suffer. We deserve death. One time I did a video about Jonathan McReynolds saying that. He said the same thing. And I made a video. He was like, we deserve death. He was like, people need to stop saying the word deserve, like, because we just misuse it and we use it out of context. Deserve, I deserve this, I deserve that, I deserve this, I deserve that. He was like, you know what we deserve? We deserve death. Like, it's not just Jackie. It's not just Jackie. I am not, hear me when I say this, I am not just going after individuals I don't like. I am deconstructing harmful theology, the systems of theology. So,
Listen, we'd be talking about Big Bird if Big Bird had harmful theology.
yes.
We'd be talking about Miss Rachel if Miss Rachel had harmful theology. We'd be calling out the producers and the creators of Gracie's Corner if they had harmful theology. She just happened to be the one to keep talking about it all the time.
Yes. Yes. She is like the premier plantation preacher of fundamentalist theology for Black folk on the internet. She's the easiest example for me to use of how harmful theology is disseminated on the internet. So again, don't get locked into the person. We all have our issues with Jackie Hill Perry, and some of us don't. Some of us never heard of her. There are a number of people who said, I've never heard of this woman until I got here. I understand that. A lot of people here came with baggage from Jackie Hill Perry's ministry. And that is how I got exposed to her, because before starting TFC, I didn't know who she was either. I didn't come from the same spaces that Jackie Hill Perry came from. But I started TFC and started attracting people who had come through that space. So it's really about the undergirding theology. So she's talking to the kids about Easter, Resurrection Sunday. What does Easter mean? And what she is talking about from a theological, like, paradigm is the concept of atonement theories. Atonement theories are ways to explain the meaning of Jesus's life, death, burial, and resurrection. So atonement theories are meant to answer the question, why did Jesus die? What was the meaning of the cross? What was the meaning of his life? And throughout the ages, throughout over 2,000 years of church history, there have been a number of theories that have evolved and have taken over in certain areas of Christianity in certain generations. So I want to show y'all this because, like, this is some really important stuff. All right. Because again, I did this presentation. It was just on another subject, but it applies here because the theological paradigm is the same across the board, y'all. So over the centuries, people have developed theories for what the cross means. Basically, how would you explain Resurrection Sunday? So one theory, one of the earliest theories, is moral influence theory. All right. So this theory is that Jesus died on the cross to bring about a positive change to humanity, that he wanted to enhance the morality of how humans move throughout the world. So that was what he was sacrificing his life for, to be an influence on how people move throughout the world. All right. And then you got ransom theory. You can look that one up. Christus Victor theory. Christus Victor theory is the one that is probably the most widely held in Christianity throughout the ages. And it just basically says Jesus died on the cross and was resurrected to defeat evil. And he was victorious over evil and everything that comes along with it on the cross. That is the most widely held. Then you got satisfaction theory. You got the governmental theory. You got the scapegoat theory. You have all of these different theories that are all very complex, that have different explanations for why Jesus died on the cross. Then you have number 7, penal substitutionary theory. Penal substitutionary theory is what most of us got who were raised in the fundamentalist church. If you were raised in any of the, or definitely Pentecostal, definitely Baptist. I can't speak for everybody else. If you were raised Methodist and you know about these theories, you can let me know. But I know like Baptists and Pentecostals, we definitely got penal substitutionary theory. The theory here, this is the explanation for resurrection, for the cross, that humanity deserved to die, and then Jesus took our place on the cross. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Humanity deserved to die. You deserve to die. But because Jesus loves you so much, he took your place on the cross. That is a theory. And then a doctrine was built around that theory. But what happens is it is taught in our churches as a certainty. It is taught like this is exactly what this story means, and it can't mean anything else. When really, it's just one of many theories, even throughout Christian history. Like Christianity is not a monolith. Different expressions of Christianity have used these different theories to explain the cross. But Jackie Hill Perry and many of us were raised in spaces and conditioned and indoctrinated in spaces where it was penal substitutionary theory. So I want to give you the characteristics of penal substitutionary theory. Babe, how we doing? Am I making sense? You got any questions? Okay, we good. All right, y'all good? Everybody good? Is this making sense? I want to help. I really want us to understand not just the sound bites. I want us to understand what undergirds it. I want us to understand the substance, because Jackie Hill Perry ain't the only one preaching this theology. Churches on every block are preaching this theology. All right. So when we look at penal substitutionary atonement, there are some characteristics that we should pay attention to. And I want you to consider, do these characteristics align with what you were taught about the cross? So, first characteristic of PSA is God's wrath. It is built around the wrath of God. We have a jealous God, an angry God, a vengeful God, right? So the cross is about satisfying God's wrath. That sound familiar? That sound like something you heard before? All right, here's another characteristic of penal substitutionary atonement. PSA. Human sin. That's what Jackie was saying in the video. You are sinners. That's why you deserve to die. She is just saying verbatim her atonement theory that she believes in and she teaches. The theology is the problem. So human sin is a characteristic. Punishment. All right. So because you have sinned, you deserve to die. And I just want to remind you, I didn't put this together after hearing her statement on Sunday. I shared this same thing months ago. And you can see verbatim that what she just said on Easter aligns with this bar for bar. Another one, guilt. These are characteristics of PSA. We feel guilty because Jesus was our substitute. It should have been me on the cross. I should have been the one who died. All of that guilt that we are taught to feel about the cross. And then even when we in some churches during like invitation, they'll ask a question like, do you believe if you were the only person that sinned, that Jesus would have died just for you if you were the only one? It's like, damn, that's a lot of pressure. All right, so we have to feel the guilt in PSA. It's about God's wrath, a focus on our sin. We deserve punishment, and we have to feel the guilt. Also, PSA leans heavily on the suffering servant motif. So this idea that Jesus's primary identity is that of a suffering servant. So if you were raised in a space or indoctrinated in a space that was built around PSA, it probably focused a lot on Jesus being a suffering servant, while you were also being taught that you are supposed to be like Jesus. Y'all putting that together? You connecting that dot? You're supposed to be Christ-like. You're supposed to be like Jesus. And the theology is reinforcing to you every time you go in the building that he was suffering servant, suffering servant. So when you get a Jackie Hill Perry telling you you're supposed to suffer well, it just makes sense. I really hope I'm making sense. It paints Jesus as a suffering servant. Also, this is the part that bothers me the most about PSA. It was introduced in the 15th century as European colonization began. So why is this significant? For 1,500 years of church history, there was no such thing as penal substitutionary atonement. This theory around the cross did not exist until white people decided they were going to go and colonize the rest of the world. And then they took this theory and they colonized our ancestors, trafficked us across the ocean, and forced us into perpetual servitude. Using this theory, it was introduced as a tool of European colonization and white supremacy. Also, it is the most popular atonement theory in the evangelical church. It's one of 7 theories that I showed you. It's one of the most recent theories of all the theories. But we were taught it was the only way to understand it. Literally a death-dealing theology. Yes, it is quite literally a death-dealing theology, which is why I want you to understand it's bigger than Jackie Hill Perry. It is a theological framework. So every time she opens her mouth, she is giving you this. This is what she's giving you. So when she says you got to suffer well, she's giving you this. When she tells little kids you deserve to die, she's giving you this. When she talks about how bad she felt for being gay, she's giving you this because the guilt. She felt guilty. And she knew that if she continued to sin, she was going to bring about God's wrath. So she felt like she deserved punishment. So then she realized, oh, it's my purpose to suffer like Christ. It's the system. Oh my God, it's the system. I just want people to understand this. It's the system. It's the system. It's the system.
If you're still here, hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the video. And if you want to see the entire recording, it's exclusively available in our Patreon. The link is in the show notes. You can either subscribe or you can just purchase this recording a la carte. We'll see you next time as we continue to deconstruct harmful theology and build beloved community. Peace out.